everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most important digital competences, and that is digital problem solving. This competence is important because you need to be able to solve problems on your own, especially when we're talking about artificial intelligence. In this video, I'll address two main issues or problems. One is about how we can prompt well and what to do if we're not prompting well. And number two is what to do if we run out of the context window, and I'll also explain what that means. So number one is connected to a concept that is not new in the world of computer science, and that is GIGO, or garbage in, garbage out, in other words. Means that if you don't specify well enough what you want, you're going to get a bad result. So garbage in, garbage out. In the world of prompting, it basically means that you need to provide the target context. You need to also provide a persona who you want the chatbot to be. For example, you are a teacher who teaches or you are a researcher who's doing a project on. These provide the background context to the chatbot, and it helps it understand how it needs to think and behave. If your prompt is short and without any specific details, don't be surprised if the response is not going to be specific either. The second issue is when you run into a context window problem. What does that mean? The way these LLM-based chatbots work is they cut up natural words into tokens. And this is how in the background they can turn language into data. All words are tokenized. The rule of thumb is that 4 characters equal 1 token in English, and it's very important that every single language works differently. English uses fewer tokens than, for example, Hungarian. When a text is tokenized, every single word is given a token ID, or several token IDs. For example, a longer, more complex word like tokenization is cut up typically into 2 segments, tokenization. But it's not always as simple as that. Sometimes spaces can be a token, a full stop can be a token. Why is this important? Because LLMs predict what the next word is going to be based on vectors. And these vectors are calculated and organized on the basis of token IDs. It's not just a linear relationship between words and tokens, but a multi-dimensional relationship. Tokens can be important to know of because they can influence a lot of things. First of all, they can influence the cost of the model that you're using. The more tokens that are required for input or output, the more expensive the model is going to be. When you're using free models, you don't really see how this actually materializes, but you immediately see this when you're trying to, for example, upload an entire article, an entire open access book, and the chatbot says that you have reached the limit, you need to cut up your request. This basically means that you reached the limit of the free context window. What can you do in that case? Well, obviously, either you subscribe, because then you get access to a larger model with a larger context window, or you need to start a new chat, or you need to cut up the file that you just uploaded. Another issue that you might face is when you're having a conversation with a chatbot, a long conversation, lots of questions, lots of requests, and at some point you notice either that the chatbot starts to make mistakes or it outright refuses to respond. This can also be due to the size of the free context window that you probably reached, and at a certain point it's going to start to forget what happened before. So in that case, again, you might need to start a new conversation and start all over again. unless you want to subscribe to a bigger package. In order to find out how tokens are calculated and what this actually means, let me show you a website, which is the OpenAI tokenizer, that you can use with a couple of example texts to see how texts are being tokenized and how token IDs are assigned. Even though you have the same word in two separate sentences, they might receive two separate token IDs because of the different context. So the OpenAI tokenizer can help you or give you a starting point in understanding how tokens work and how LLMs calculate the size of text.